This 1 pound of meat per week is reversing memory loss in my patients, and the brain health industry does not want you to know about it. As a physician who has spent over 20 years treating cognitive decline and memory disorders in older adults, I need to warn you about the most dangerous myth that is destroying your brain right now. Millions of people believe that memory loss is an inevitable part of aging, that there is nothing you can do except accept it or take expensive medications with terrible side effects. But in reality, for most people experiencing memory problems, the solution is shockingly simple and has been sitting in your grocery store this entire time. What almost no neurologist will tell you is that there is one specific type of meat that contains the most concentrated source of brain-healing nutrients found anywhere in nature. Nutrients that directly repair damaged brain cells, regenerate neural connections, and restore memory function faster than any pharmaceutical intervention. And today, I am going to reveal exactly which meat this is, why just 1 pound per week is enough to see dramatic improvements, and how you can start recovering your memory within weeks. Stay with me until the very end because I have a special gift that will completely change how you understand brain health and memory for the rest of your life. I am Dr. Marcus Richardson, a board-certified physician specializing in cognitive health and metabolic neurology, with over 2 decades of clinical experience, helping older adults reverse memory decline and regain mental clarity. And today, I want to warn you about a critical nutritional deficiency that is affecting your brain and that of your loved ones. Let me tell you something that the supplement industry and pharmaceutical companies absolutely do not want you to hear. I have patients who are 60, 65, 70, even 75 years old who come into my office terrified and frustrated. They tell me they are forgetting names of people they have known for decades. They walk into rooms and cannot remember why they went there. They repeat the same stories to their families without realizing it. They struggle to find words in the middle of sentences. They feel like their mind is slipping away piece by piece, day by day. And the first thing I hear is, "Doctor, is this Alzheimer's? Is this dementia? Am I losing my mind? Is there anything that can help me?" And that question, that fear in their eyes, breaks my heart every single time because in the majority of cases what they are experiencing is not Alzheimer's disease. It is not irreversible dementia. It is not genetic destiny. What they are experiencing is severe nutritional deficiency affecting their brain function, and it is completely reversible if caught early enough and addressed properly. I will tell you straight, and I need you to listen very carefully to what I am about to say. Your brain is the most nutrient-demanding organ in your entire body. It represents only 2% of your body weight, but it consumes 20% of your total energy and requires a constant supply of specific vitamins, minerals, fatty acids, and amino acids to function properly. When you are deficient in even one of these critical nutrients, your brain cannot form new memories, cannot recall stored information, cannot maintain focus and concentration, and cannot protect itself from the oxidative damage that accumulates with every passing day. The meat I am talking about is not steak. It is not ground beef. It is not any of the common cuts you see advertised or recommended by fitness influencers. The meat I am talking about is liver, specifically beef liver, and it is hands down the most nutrient-dense food on planet Earth. I know what you are thinking right now. You are thinking, liver? That sounds disgusting. I tried it once as a child and hated it. Why would I eat liver? And I understand that reaction completely because I hear it every single day in my practice. But here is what I need you to understand. 1 pound of beef liver per week, just 16 ounces divided across 7 days, contains more brain-healing nutrients than you could possibly get from any combination of supplements, superfoods, or trendy health products. We are talking about nutrients in their most bioavailable forms. Nutrients that your body recognizes and absorbs with nearly 100% efficiency. Nutrients that go directly to your brain and start repairing damage within hours of consumption. I have seen this transformation happen hundreds of times in my practice over the past 20 years. It is like watching someone turn the lights back on in a darkened house. At first, you are eating liver reluctantly, maybe even holding your nose because you have been conditioned to think it tastes bad. But within 1 week, you notice your energy is different. Within 2 weeks, you realize you are remembering appointments without checking your calendar. Within 4 weeks, your family comments that you seem sharper, more present, more like your old self. Within 8 weeks, the brain fog that has been clouding your thoughts for years begins to lift. Within 12 weeks, you are experiencing mental clarity you have not felt in a decade or more. And the most beautiful part, the part that brings tears to my eyes when I see it happen, is watching my patients regain their confidence, their independence, their sense of self that they thought was gone forever. The tragedy, the absolute tragedy that keeps me awake at night, is that this information is not reaching the people who need it most. We live in a world where people spend hundreds of dollars per month on fish oil supplements, nootropic stacks, and memory-enhancing medications, while the most powerful brain food in existence costs less than $10 per pound and is available at any grocery store or butcher shop. Why is this not common knowledge? Why are doctors not prescribing liver before they prescribe medications? The answer is complicated and involves corporate interests, pharmaceutical lobbying, and decades of misguided nutritional advice that demonized organ meats without scientific justification. But today, right now, I am going to give you the truth that can save your memory and quite possibly save your life. When I talk to my patients about memory loss, I always start with a truth that most doctors will not tell you directly. The memory problems you are experiencing right now are not normal aging. Let me repeat that because it is critically important. Forgetting where you put your keys occasionally is normal. Forgetting the name of an acquaintance you rarely see is normal. But forgetting the names of close family members, losing your train of thought mid-sentence multiple times per day, being unable to recall conversations that happened yesterday, or feeling like your mind is constantly foggy and slow, these are not normal. These are signs of brain malnutrition, and they are screaming at you that your brain is starving for specific nutrients it desperately needs to function. Your brain cells, your neurons, are some of the longest living cells in your body. Many of the neurons you have right now are the same ones you were born with. But here is the problem. These neurons require constant maintenance, constant repair, constant protection from damage. Every single day, your brain produces thousands of new neural connections, repairs damaged cell membranes, generates neurotransmitters that allow neurons to communicate, and clears out toxic waste products that accumulate during normal brain activity. All of these processes require specific nutrients. When you do not consume these nutrients in adequate amounts, these processes slow down or stop completely. Your brain starts to deteriorate faster than it can repair itself. Neural connections weaken and disappear. Cell membranes become rigid and dysfunctional. Neurotransmitter production drops. Toxic waste accumulates. And you experience this as memory loss, brain fog, difficulty concentrating, and cognitive decline. The standard American diet, even the supposedly healthy version with chicken breast, vegetables, and whole grains, does not come close to providing the nutrients your brain needs. Not even remotely close. You could eat perfectly according to the food pyramid, hit all your calorie targets, get adequate protein, and still be severely deficient in the brain-critical nutrients found in liver. This is not an exaggeration. This is biochemical reality. The nutrients I am talking about, vitamin A in the form of retinol, all of the B vitamins in highly bioavailable forms, especially B12, folate, choline, copper, iron, zinc, and coenzyme Q10, these nutrients are either completely absent from muscle meats and plant foods or present in forms that your body cannot absorb efficiently. Let me give you specific examples of what happens when you are deficient in these nutrients. Vitamin A deficiency impairs your brain's ability to form new synaptic connections, the links between neurons that encode memories. Without adequate vitamin A, your hippocampus, the memory center of your brain, literally shrinks. B12. Deficiency causes demyelination, the breakdown of the protective coating around your nerve fibers. This is the same process that happens in multiple sclerosis, except it is happening slowly throughout your entire nervous system. Your nerve signals become slower and weaker. Information does not flow properly. You experience this as memory problems, confusion, numbness, and cognitive decline. Folate deficiency prevents your brain from producing adequate amounts of neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine. You experience this as depression, anxiety, poor focus, and memory impairment. Choline deficiency is perhaps the most devastating for memory, because choline is the building block of acetylcholine, the primary neurotransmitter involved in memory formation and recall. Without adequate choline, your brain cannot encode new memories or retrieve stored ones. It is like trying to write with a pen that has no ink or trying to read a book in complete darkness. The mechanism is there, but the essential component is missing. Studies have shown that people with low choline intake have significantly smaller brain volume and worse memory performance compared to those with adequate intake. And here is the shocking part. Over 90% of Americans are deficient in choline. 90%. This is a public health crisis that nobody is talking about. Let me tell you about Barbara, a 67-year-old retired teacher who came to my office convinced she had early-stage Alzheimer's disease. Her memory had deteriorated so badly over the previous 2 years that she could not remember conversations with her husband from the day before. She would go to the grocery store with a list and come home with completely different items because she forgot what she went there to buy. She stopped playing bridge with her friends because she could not keep track of the cards. She was terrified, depressed, and convinced her life as she knew it was over. Her previous doctor had run standard cognitive tests and told her it was likely early dementia and that she should get her affairs in order. But when I ran comprehensive nutritional blood work, the picture became immediately clear. Her vitamin B12 was barely detectable, her folate was low, her vitamin A was deficient, her iron stores were depleted, her brain was starving, and everyone had missed it. Have you been experiencing memory problems that doctors have dismissed as normal aging? Have you felt like your mind is not as sharp as it used to be? Drop a comment below and tell me what you have been experiencing. I want to hear your story because you are not alone, and this problem is far more widespread than most people realize. Now let me explain exactly why beef liver is the most powerful brain food in existence, and why just 1 pound per week can reverse years of cognitive decline. Beef liver is not just another source of protein or vitamins. It is nature's multivitamin, a concentrated package of every single nutrient your brain needs in the exact forms your body can use immediately. When you eat liver, you are consuming the organ that stored and concentrated nutrients for a 1,500-pound animal. Everything that animal consumed, all of the grass, all of the minerals from the soil, all of the vitamins synthesized in its body, all of that nutritional power is concentrated in the liver. And when you eat it, all of those nutrients become available to your body and your brain. Let me break down the specific nutrients in liver that directly impact memory and cognitive function. First, vitamin A in the form of retinol. 1 3-ounce serving of beef liver contains over 16,000 international units of true vitamin A, not beta-carotene, which must be converted and which many people cannot convert efficiently, but actual retinol that your body can use immediately. This vitamin A is essential for neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to form new neural connections and adapt to new information. It regulates the expression of genes involved in synaptic function. It supports the growth of new neurons in the hippocampus. It protects existing neurons from oxidative damage. Without adequate vitamin A, your brain literally cannot form new long-term memories. This is not speculation. This is established neuroscience. Second, vitamin B12 in the methylcobalamin form, the most active and bioavailable form that exists. 1 3-ounce serving of liver contains over 60 micrograms of B12, which is 2,000% of the recommended daily intake. But here is what most people do not understand. The recommended daily intake is the bare minimum to prevent outright deficiency diseases like pernicious anemia. For optimal brain function, for memory formation and recall, for maintaining the myelin sheaths around your nerves, you need far more than the minimum. And you cannot get this from plant foods because B12 does not exist in plants. You cannot get adequate amounts from chicken or fish because the concentrations are too low. Only organ meats, especially liver, provide therapeutic amounts of this critical brain vitamin. Third, folate, and this is crucial, real folate, not synthetic folic acid found in supplements and fortified foods. Your body has to convert folic acid into active folate through a series of enzymatic steps, and approximately 40% of people have genetic variations that make this conversion inefficient. But when you eat liver, you get natural folate that is already in the active methylfolate form your brain needs. 1 serving provides over 250 micrograms of this bioavailable folate. This nutrient is absolutely essential for neurotransmitter synthesis, DNA repair in brain cells, and prevention of brain atrophy. Studies have shown that people with adequate folate levels have significantly larger brain volume and better memory performance as they age. Fourth, choline, and this is where liver becomes absolutely extraordinary. 1 3-ounce serving of beef liver contains over 350 milligrams of choline, more than any other food source on Earth. Choline is the direct precursor to acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that controls memory encoding and retrieval. Every time you form a new memory, every time you recall information, every time you learn something new, your brain is using acetylcholine. When you are deficient in choline, your brain cannot produce enough acetylcholine, and your memory function collapses. This is exactly what happens to many people as they age. They stop eating choline-rich foods, their acetylcholine production drops, and they experience progressive memory loss that everyone assumes is normal aging. But it is not. It is choline deficiency, and it is completely reversible. Fifth, copper, iron, and zinc in perfect balance and in highly bioavailable heme forms. These minerals are essential cofactors for hundreds of enzymatic reactions in your brain. Copper is required for the production of neurotransmitters and for the formation of myelin. Iron carries oxygen to your brain cells and is essential for energy production in neurons. Zinc is required for neurogenesis, the formation of new brain cells, and for synaptic plasticity. When you eat liver, you get all three of these minerals in optimal ratios and in forms that your body absorbs with nearly 90% efficiency. Compare that to plant sources where absorption rates are often below 10% due to phytates and other anti-nutrients. Sixth, coenzyme Q10, a powerful antioxidant that protects brain cells from oxidative damage and supports mitochondrial function in neurons. Your brain cells have enormous energy demands, and they are packed with mitochondria that produce that energy. As you age, mitochondrial function declines, and oxidative damage accumulates. Coenzyme Q10 directly addresses both of these problems. It enhances energy production in brain cells and neutralizes the free radicals that damage cellular structures. Liver is one of the richest food sources of this critical compound. Let me tell you about Richard, a 71-year-old man who had been experiencing progressive memory decline for 3 years. He could not remember the names of his grandchildren, could not follow the plot of television shows, and was becoming increasingly withdrawn and depressed. His wife was preparing for the worst, researching memory care facilities. I convinced him to try eating 4 ounces of liver twice per week, just 8 ounces total. He was skeptical, but desperate enough to try. Within 3 weeks, his wife called me in tears. Richard had remembered all 5 of his grandchildren's names without prompting. Within 2 months, he was back to reading books and retaining the stories. Within 4 months, his cognitive tests showed improvement equivalent to someone 5 to 7 years younger. He did not take a single pharmaceutical. He just gave his brain the nutrients it had been starving for. Before we continue, I want to know something from you. Have you ever eaten liver before? Or have you been avoiding it because you think it tastes bad or because someone told you it was unhealthy? Comment below, because understanding where you are starting from will help me give you the best guidance. When I explain the liver and memory connection to patients, many immediately ask questions they have heard repeated for years. Is liver not full of toxins? Will it not give me too much vitamin A? Is it not high in cholesterol? These are valid concerns that deserve honest, evidence-based answers, not the myths and misconceptions that have been repeated without scientific basis for decades. So let me address each of these directly, with what the research actually shows and what I have observed in over 20 years of clinical practice with thousands of patients. First, the toxin myth. Many people believe that the liver stores toxins and that eating it will expose you to harmful substances. This is completely false and represents a fundamental misunderstanding of liver physiology. The liver does not store toxins. It processes toxins and neutralizes them so they can be excreted from the body. What the liver does store is nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and other beneficial compounds. When you eat liver, you are consuming the most nutrient-dense tissue in the animal's body, not a repository of toxins. Multiple studies analyzing the content of beef liver have found no concerning levels of environmental contaminants, heavy metals, or other harmful substances, especially in liver from grass-fed, pasture-raised cattle. The liver you buy from a reputable source is one of the cleanest, safest, most nutritious foods you can eat. Second, the vitamin A concern. Some healthcare providers warn against eating liver because of its high vitamin A content, citing fears of toxicity, but this concern is based on studies of synthetic vitamin A supplementation at extremely high doses, not vitamin A from natural food sources. Your body has sophisticated mechanisms to regulate vitamin A absorption from food. When you eat liver, you absorb what you need and excrete the excess. Vitamin A toxicity from food sources is extraordinarily rare and typically only occurs with extreme consumption, like eating polar bear liver, which contains toxic levels, or consuming multiple pounds of beef liver daily for extended periods. Eating 1 pound of liver per week, distributed across several meals, provides therapeutic amounts of vitamin A without any risk of toxicity. In fact, the bigger problem in modern society is vitamin A deficiency, not excess. Millions of people are walking around with suboptimal vitamin A status, and their brain health is suffering as a result. Third, the cholesterol concern. Yes, liver contains cholesterol. 100 grams contains approximately 400 milligrams. But here is what modern research has definitively proven. Dietary cholesterol has minimal impact on blood cholesterol levels in the vast majority of people. Your liver produces approximately 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of cholesterol every single day, because cholesterol is essential for life. It is required for cell membrane structure, hormone production, vitamin D synthesis, and brain function. In fact, your brain contains 25% of all the cholesterol in your body, despite being only 2% of your body weight. Cholesterol is so important for brain function that low cholesterol levels have been associated with increased risk of depression, cognitive decline, and even dementia. When you eat cholesterol-rich foods like liver, your body simply produces less cholesterol internally to compensate. Multiple large-scale studies have found no association between egg and organ meat consumption and heart disease risk. Now let me explain the deeper mechanisms by which liver nutrients restore memory function at the cellular level. When you consume liver regularly, several critical processes begin happening in your brain simultaneously. First, the high concentration of B vitamins, especially B12, B6, and folate, reduces homocysteine levels in your brain. Homocysteine is a toxic amino acid byproduct that accumulates when these B vitamins are deficient. Elevated homocysteine directly damages blood vessels in your brain, impairs neurotransmitter synthesis, and accelerates cognitive decline. By providing optimal amounts of these B vitamins, liver consumption lowers homocysteine and protects your brain from this damage. Second, the choline from liver increases acetylcholine production throughout your brain, particularly in the hippocampus and frontal cortex, the regions most involved in memory formation, storage, and retrieval. This effect is measurable and significant. Studies using brain imaging have shown that choline supplementation increases activity in memory-related brain regions during memory tasks. But whole food sources like liver are superior to isolated choline supplements because they provide all the cofactors needed for optimal utilization, including the B vitamins that work synergistically with choline. Third, the iron and copper in liver support myelin synthesis, the formation and maintenance of the protective coating around nerve fibers that allows rapid signal transmission. Many people, especially women and older adults, are iron deficient without knowing it. Subtle iron deficiency, even before it shows up as anemia on standard blood tests, impairs cognitive function, slows processing speed, and reduces memory capacity. The heme iron in liver is absorbed 10 times more efficiently than non-heme iron from plant sources, making it the superior choice for correcting deficiency. Fourth, the vitamin A in liver activates retinoic acid receptors in your brain, particularly in the hippocampus. These receptors control the expression of genes involved in synaptic plasticity, the ability of neural connections to strengthen or weaken based on experience. This is the biological foundation of learning and memory. Without adequate vitamin A, these genes cannot be properly expressed, and your ability to form new memories is impaired. Liver provides vitamin A in exactly the form needed to activate these critical pathways. Fifth, the coenzyme Q10 and other antioxidants in liver protect your brain from oxidative stress, which is one of the primary drivers of age-related cognitive decline. Your brain uses 20% of your body's oxygen, despite being only 2% of your body weight. This high metabolic rate generates large amounts of reactive oxygen species that damage cellular structures if not neutralized. The antioxidants in liver provide this protection, especially when combined with the selenium, zinc, and vitamin E, also present in liver tissue. Remember at the very beginning I promised you a special gift that would transform how you understand brain health? Here it is, and I want you to pay very close attention because this information could literally save your cognitive function and independence. The gift is this truth. Your brain has an extraordinary capacity to heal, repair, and regenerate itself at any age, even if you are 70, 80, or 90 years old. The concept that cognitive decline is inevitable and irreversible is a lie that benefits pharmaceutical companies and the medical establishment, but has no basis in current neuroscience. Your brain contains neural stem cells that can generate new neurons throughout your entire life. Your existing neurons can form new connections, strengthen existing pathways, and restore function even after years of decline. But this regeneration requires one non-negotiable condition. You must provide your brain with the raw materials, the specific nutrients it needs to execute these repair processes. And the single most efficient way to deliver these nutrients is through regular consumption of beef liver. This changes everything because it means you are not helpless. You are not at the mercy of genetics or fate or inevitable aging. You have direct control over one of the most important determinants of your brain health, which is the nutrients you choose to put into your body. Every time you eat liver, every single time, you are sending a flood of brain-healing compounds directly to your neurons, giving them exactly what they need to repair damage, clear out toxic waste, generate new connections, and restore optimal function. This is not alternative medicine or wishful thinking. This is fundamental biochemistry and neuroscience applied to real-world nutrition. Now let me give you the exact step-by-step protocol to implement this immediately and start experiencing results within days and weeks. First, commit to eating 1 pound of beef liver per week. This breaks down to approximately 2.5 ounces every other day, or 4 ounces twice per week. If you have never eaten liver before, start with smaller amounts, perhaps 2 ounces twice per week, and gradually increase as your palate adjusts. Choose high-quality liver from grass-fed, pasture-raised cattle whenever possible. This ensures the highest nutrient density and the best fatty acid profile. You can find this at health food stores, farmers markets, or online suppliers that ship frozen liver directly to your home. Second, learn how to prepare liver in ways that make it palatable and even delicious. The biggest barrier for most people is not the nutrition but the taste and texture. Here are proven preparation methods. Soak the liver in milk or lemon water for 30 minutes to 1 hour before cooking. This removes any bitter flavors and creates a milder taste. Slice the liver thin, about 1/4 inch thick, for faster cooking and better texture. Season generously with sea salt, black pepper, garlic powder, and any herbs you enjoy. Cook liver quickly over medium-high heat, approximately 2 to 3 minutes per side. Do not overcook. Overcooked liver becomes tough and develops a stronger flavor. Properly cooked liver should still be slightly pink in the center and should be tender and mild tasting. Another excellent method is to incorporate liver into ground beef dishes where the flavor is masked. Mix 1/4 pound of raw liver, finely chopped or ground, into 1 pound of ground beef. Use this mixture to make burgers, meatballs, or meat sauce. The liver flavor becomes almost undetectable, but you still get all the nutritional benefits. Many of my patients who swear they hate liver use this method successfully and never taste it. Third, if you absolutely cannot tolerate the taste of liver even with these preparation methods, consider desiccated liver capsules. These are made from freeze-dried beef liver and provide the same nutrients in concentrated pill form. You will need to take approximately 6 to 9 capsules per day to equal the nutrients in 2 to 3 ounces of fresh liver. This is a legitimate alternative, though fresh liver is always preferable because it provides additional beneficial compounds that may be reduced during the freeze-drying process. But taking liver capsules is infinitely better than not consuming liver at all. Fourth, combine your liver consumption with other brain-supporting lifestyle factors to maximize results. Ensure you are getting adequate sleep, 7 to 8 hours per night, because sleep is when your brain consolidates memories and clears out metabolic waste. Engage in regular physical activity, particularly aerobic exercise like walking, which increases blood flow to your brain and stimulates the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that supports neuron growth and survival. Challenge your brain with novel activities, learning new skills, reading, puzzles, or social interaction. These activities create demand for new neural connections, and the nutrients from liver provide the raw materials to build them. Fifth, track your progress objectively so you can see the real improvements happening. Keep a simple daily journal noting your energy levels, mental clarity, ability to remember names and appointments, and overall mood. After 4 weeks of consistent liver consumption, review your journal and notice the changes. Most of my patients are shocked by how much better they feel. You can also use simple memory tests available online to track objective improvements in recall and cognitive function. Now, I must emphasize this critical point. If you are taking any medications, particularly blood thinners like warfarin, consult your physician before adding liver to your diet, because the vitamin K content can affect medication effectiveness. If you have any liver disease or a condition called hemochromatosis where your body absorbs too much iron, you should avoid high liver consumption. These situations are rare, but they require medical supervision. For the vast majority of people, liver is not only safe but profoundly beneficial. The power to recover your memory, restore your mental clarity, and protect your brain for decades to come is sitting in your grocery store right now, waiting for you to recognize its value. You do not need to spend thousands of dollars on unproven supplements. You do not need to accept cognitive decline as your inevitable future. You do not need to live in fear of dementia. The solution is simple, affordable, and backed by both traditional wisdom and modern science. 1 pound of beef liver per week. That is all it takes. Give your brain what it actually needs. Eat this incredible superfood consistently. Support it with healthy lifestyle habits. And watch as your memory returns, your mental fog lifts, and your cognitive function improves in ways that will amaze you and everyone around you. Your brain is waiting for the nutrients it needs to heal. Give them to it starting today.